Everyone laughed at him the moment he walked in, and in that instant the room decided who he was without knowing a single truth about his life. His clothes were worn, his shoulders slightly stooped from years of carrying more than most men ever should, and his hands rough, scarred, and steady told a story no one cared to read. He was just another single dad struggling to survive, just another forgotten veteran in a world rushing past him. Or so they thought. Before this story unfolds further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and hidden strength, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from today. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Michael Carter had learned to endure laughter the way soldiers learn to endure gunfire, by breathing through it and focusing on what mattered. Since returning from service, life had stripped him down layer by layer. The uniform that once earned respect was gone, replaced by faded jeans and a jacket stitched more times than he could count. His medals rested in a small box under his bed, unopened for years, because memories were heavier than metal. Every morning before dawn, he packed his daughter Lily's lunch with careful hands, making sure the peanut butter was spread evenly because she liked it that way, and whispered promises to himself that she would never feel abandoned, even if the world abandoned him again and again. Raising Lily alone after losing his wife had been a battle more exhausting than any deployment. Hospital bills, night shifts, and the constant fear of not being enough followed him everywhere. Some days he felt invisible, other days he felt like a burden. Yet every time Lily smiled at him with complete trust, something inside him straightened just enough to keep going. He taught her to be gentle in a hard world and strong without being cruel, lessons he himself had learned the hard way. The archery range where fate finally caught up to him was hosting a corporate charity event, an exclusive gathering filled with polished executives and expensive watches. Michael had only come because the small cash prize could cover Lily's school supplies. When he signed up, a few people glanced at him and smirked, their eyes lingering on his scuffed boots and weathered face. He didn't belong in their world, and they made sure he felt it without saying a word. Laughter rippled softly when his name was called, not loud enough to challenge but sharp enough to cut. Michael stepped forward calmly, feeling the familiar weight of the bow settle into his grip like an old friend. Years ago, during his service, archery had been more than a skill, it had been survival. In the quiet moments between missions, he trained relentlessly, finding peace in focus, precision, and control. He had gone on to win championships, his name once printed in magazines that now lined thrift store shelves. But life had demanded different victories from him, and trophies couldn't tuck a child into bed at night. As the event continued, the air buzzed with competition and careless confidence. Shots were fired, arrows missing their marks by inches, sometimes feet. Applause came easily for the well-dressed and well-connected. When Michael finally raised his bow, the laughter faded into distracted silence. His breathing slowed, the world narrowing to the target ahead. In that moment, he wasn't a struggling single father or a forgotten veteran. He was discipline, he was focus, he was everything he had survived. The arrow left the string with a quiet certainty, slicing through the air and striking dead center. A murmur spread. Then another arrow followed, then another, each one flawless, each one impossible to ignore. Faces changed, smiles vanished, respect long withheld crept reluctantly into the room. Among those watching was Emily Rhodes, the CEO hosting the event, a woman known for her sharp instincts and colder reputation. She had seen confidence before, but this was different. This was humility paired with mastery, pain transformed into precision. As Michael continued, the room grew still, as if everyone sensed they were witnessing something rare. Not just talent, but a life distilled into control and grace. Emily found herself drawn not only to his skill but to the quiet dignity with which he carried himself. When the final score was announced and Michael stood unmistakably at the top, there was no laughter left, only stunned applause. But the real impact came after, when Emily learned who he truly was. A veteran who had served with honor, a widower who had refused to let grief turn into bitterness, a father who measured success not by wealth but by whether his child slept safely at night. Something shifted inside her, a recognition that success without compassion was hollow. She saw in Michael what the world had overlooked: resilience, integrity, and a strength that didn't need an audience. Opportunities followed, not because of pity but because of earned respect. Emily offered him a role that valued his discipline and leadership, a chance to rebuild without losing himself. More importantly, she listened, she learned, and in doing so she changed not just his life but her own way of seeing others. Michael's world didn't transform overnight, but it softened. Bills became manageable. Lily's laughter grew louder. And for the first time in years, Michael allowed himself to believe that survival could turn into living. He never bragged about his past achievements, never corrected those who once laughed. He simply showed up, steady and present, letting his actions speak where words never could. As this story draws close, if it touched something deep inside you, if it reminded you that strength often hides behind silence and humility, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps bring more stories of hope and quiet courage to light. And before this video ends, take a moment to comment one thing this story made you feel or someone it reminded you of. Your words matter more than you know. Michael Carter never needed the world's applause. All he needed was a chance to be seen, and when it finally came, it proved a simple truth. Never underestimate the quiet ones, because sometimes the strongest hearts beat behind the softest footsteps.